Welcome to Drinkin Bro Sports Tailgate Legends finale. This is the last show of the season.
The Swan Song?
The
Is
Swan
that what you want to call it?
Song. It's been one hell of a season. I know I've learned a lot.
Why didn't we have the Final Countdown playing before this?
Final Countdown.
I had a buddy who went and saw Europe, I think is the name of the band. They opened with Final Countdown, played it in the middle, and then finished with Final Countdown.
You ever seen the cello Final Countdown?
No.
Oh, go home and Google Final Countdown cello orchestra. It's nothing but cellos. And the dudes are like headbanging,
That's like
tuxedos on.
when Michael Scott gets just the stand-up bass jazz player for the Christmas party. And it's nothing else but just a stand-up bass player.
This is actually good though. This is actually it's actually really good. It's worth the YouTubes. It's worth the YouTubes. It's an oldie but a goldie. I might even share it out today on Drinkin Bros Sports. But yes, the season is winding down. Big Dick Daddy Ross is back.
He's back. The king
He's
is returned.
back. Right in time for Christmas break. Wonder if he planned it that way.
Well, hopefully he eats a lot and fattens himself back up. He's looking rather gaunt.
Yeah, he does look a little
Which is too bad, too, because I remember right in the summertime,
jacked.
I was like, Ross is fucking jacked. And I'm sure he'll get it right back real quick, start drinking some baby's blood like the rest of the celebrities out there, and he'll be right back into the swing of things in no time.
Yeah, so he comes back. It's a 2-week break. We get the call last night that we're going to be going away for the season because tailgating, essentially, it's just getting too cold. Travel plans are getting too difficult. And so we're gonna put a cap in this season, and maybe we'll be back next season. I don't know, unless somebody like better than us pops up in the off season. Impossible. So we will be back, but I mean it's hard to do a show like this every weekend. I mean, just a week of planning, preparation, getting tickets, trying to figure out which game we're going to go to. One thing I've learned, and I don't quite understand, is why don't they release the times of the games more than like a week in advance?
Well, some games are TBD a lot of times to be determined because of TV. A lot of times you're going to see now in the NFL this next couple of weeks, a lot of games that are flexed. So they plan the season ahead of time. And you have the Redskins versus the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. And then it's like, well, now that's not a really great matchup. So let's flex them out and put, the Bengals versus the 49ers, a little bit better matchup. And that's why a lot of times they have to have these flex schedules and to be determined because if you don't, in the beginning of the season, the Seahawks look like they could win that division. Now they suck, right? So now you have them playing in a big spot in a big game. You need to be able to have that flexibility, especially coming to the end of the season where the playoffs are coming up and you want to have the best games possible on prime time because that's where the money is. You got to follow the money.
Don't they understand how hard it is for us to plan out our tailgates?
I think they should consider us more, right? I mean, why follow the money? Why try to make a profit or do anything successfully? All you really should care about is us. All you should really care about is making us happy. Clearly,
life a lot easier for us,
but
we don't have the assets that they have. But traveling. This show is extremely expensive, and we are so thankful that they even let us do this for a whole year. It was a pleasure. It's been a wonderful ride. What was your favorite show? What was your favorite experience? There were so many. There were so many good ones.
I don't know if I have a one specific show or one specific moment, but a lot of times, I went home for Thanksgiving, went to the old stomping grounds and went to the Kowloon in Saugus, Massachusetts, and it was pretty cool. Dudes I played football with in high school, coming up and hey man, I see what you're doing on Instagram and you're meeting these people and doing these cool things. That's pretty fucking cool. And not that I need people to remind me, but people have. And I'm just yeah, I'm very fortunate. I was in a luxury box suite at Jerry World with Chuck Liddell and Michael Irvin standing on either side of me. And I'm like, is this real life? And there's been a lot of moments where, meeting people like Khalil Ali, and having all these times where I was like, I can't believe we're doing this. I'm literally sharing a drink with John Daly, and he's walking by me as he goes up and sings Knocking on Heaven's Door. And, I went and talked to Rob O'Neill and was like, hey man, just wanted to say what up to you. I'll leave you alone. He's like, no, wait a second. And he's like, what you guys at Drinkin Bros are doing, what Ross and Dan do is so important. Fuck the woke bullshit. Fuck cancel culture. what you guys are doing, we need more people like you. You guys need to be propped up. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is Rob O'Neill like telling me that how lucky I am, right? You know, and so moments like that, it's kind of like, wow, I'm super fucking fortunate. And that's what I would tell people all the time. That makes me feel like, you know, people are like, oh, wow, you're so humble. Inside, I'm like, I'm a fucking man. But on the outside, I'm like, oh, I'm just very fortunate. I'm so fortunate to be, but I am. And realistic, I'm joking around a little bit, but no, I very lucky. I feel very lucky. I never thought I would be in the situations that, you know, I was in this past year, a year prior to that. But hopefully there's more to come. Hopefully this isn't, you know,
I think there will
period at the end of the sentence.
No, of course not. There's always bigger and better plans ahead for us. But I think my favorite show so far, I mean, the Khalil Ali, the Dr. Ali show was maybe probably one of those shows that I'll never, ever forget. I think she's one of the most fascinating human beings I've ever met. And it was a total surprise, right? Because like when we found out that she was our guest, I was kind of like, oh, so she was married to Muhammad Ali at what time? Is that what makes her special? Like, and that was the first time I realized that none of that shit matters. That one thing that she taught me was that she never ever rode the coattails of anyone else's success. She always created her own success. She didn't live under the wing of Muhammad Ali. She went out. I mean, she was a black belt then. She was on Ebony magazine as a black belt. She was
training with
Bruce Lee and all these other characters, Chuck Norris, and you know, then she started drag racing, and she got her pilot's license, and she left Muhammad Ali for cheating. She was like, look, I don't need you, motherfucker. I don't need your money either, bitch. Like, you cheat on me again, I'm out of here, you know?
That didn't define her. Being married to Muhammad Ali was like third paragraph down in her resume.
Yeah, and her resume is phenomenal, man. And she was just, you want to talk about humble. I mean, we went to a very inexpensive restaurant with her, and I mean, dude, she was just so friendly to all the people in there and the staff, and the jokes that she made and the jokes that she told and the time that she spent with us was just so genuine and so nice. And I think like Justin Bieber had texted her like in the middle, and she shared that text with all of us. She was like, hey guys, look, just like, not as in like a boastful Justin Bieber texted me thing, but she's like, hey, Justin Bieber wants to know what we're doing. What should I say to him? And like, she's like, do you guys want to like, you know, come together? I know you guys probably think it's cool that Justin Bieber's texting me, so I'd like you to guys like, come on, let's come up with something fun and creative. And so like, she could have just like sat on that and be like, Justin Bieber texted me, bitches. But she was like, no, like, I want you guys to be a part of this excitement. What should we say to him?
Yeah. And another situation similar to that is when Robert Jones was on our show. Kevin Sumlin, who was Johnny Football's coach and Mike Evans' coach at A&M, called him while he was on the show. He's like, oh, should I take this? And it's like, it's just really cool. And his story, too, you know, those are the early shows for me. That was Khalil Ali and Robert Jones were like my second and third show that I did. And Robert Jones' story was incredible, too. I mean, those types of shows are timeless.
Yeah,
some of our shows.
Like that, he had to live through 2 murders.
I know. I mean, a true come-up story. And his son Zay is on the Raiders right now, and he's successful as well. And, you know, some of our shows are timely where we're at a game. We're talking specifically about the game. And some of our shows are timeless where you can go back in the archives of Tailgate Legends and listen or watch the Khalil Ali or the Robert Jones and watch those people and tell their stories, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be during.
Remember the first show that we met was at the Bone Crusher.
Yeah,
the first man to go 12 rounds with.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the first man to ever go 12 rounds with Mike Tyson, and the dude's definitely been punched in the head for 19 years straight as a career. But you know, it was a podcast, and I don't know how many podcasts he's ever been on, but we were at a brewery, and it was packed, right? And there was a bunch of people watching, and he stops the show because people were talking. And he didn't understand that these mics like only pick up us. And he was like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting mad. Yeah. You know, and he wanted to stop the show because people weren't really paying attention. And I was like, no, it's a brewery. Like, these people are just hanging out. But that was fun and awkward. But he was cool. You know, we went out to dinner with him, and that guy can eat. That was a hard tab to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I that was the first, well, I guess the second show that I attended. If you go way back in the archives, with Brian Holt, Strongman. I was actually in the background drinking right here and yapping it up. And that was actually a funny night, too. But the Bone Crusher one, I remember watching. I was front and center. And right when I saw you say Patrick Mahomes, that was the moment where I realized this guy does not know anything about sports. No. And that's why I approached you after the show and said, you don't know anything about sports. But I think
argue.
you've learned a thing or two along the way, don't you think? Since then?
Yeah, I've learned that college football athletes in particular love to flop and fake injuries. They love to cramp up. I don't know. I feel like if you don't drink enough water before a game, then you are doing a disservice to your team. If you did not prepare your body physically for the duration of the game, then you have let your men down. Could you imagine if a combat infantryman was in Afghanistan in the firefight of his life, and he's like, hold up. Oh, guys.
Al-Qaeda just goes, everyone, hold on.
I'm cramping. No, you would be like, are you fucking serious? So like dudes are dying because your bitch ass didn't drink enough fucking water and enough fluids before this firefight. So I did learn that college football athletes generally in today's realm of sports are pussies.
Well, you say that, and sure, maybe you have a point, but you must not watch the NBA because they're much worse than the NBA. And, preparation is huge, right? Not just Preparation H that I saw you apply earlier before the show, but preparation is big. Now, you say, how can you not be prepared, and how could you not drink water before? Well, we've had some moments where we weren't prepared, like when we were at Georgia Clemson, and it was hot as balls, and we forgot a tent, and our equipment was overheating. And there was smoke coming out of Jimmy's laptop, and we're like, this probably shouldn't happen. And we're bugging out because this is like our first big show, and we're like, oh no, we might not be able to do this.
And we had like one of the bigger crowds with us for that game. It was the first game of the season, probably one of the bigger games of the season. I think it was like 78,000 people in attendance. And we have this massive Clemson, Georgia tailgate right outside the stadium with the stadium in the ground, probably the best view we'll ever get. And Jimmy is like, dude, we can't do anything right now. Like the equipment is shutting off because it's too hot. And I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I think we forgot chairs too, right?
Yeah, we forgot chairs. I think we only had one table or something. I don't know. It was a shit show. But like, I literally walked over and grabbed the laptop and just remember being like, ow, oh my God, like this is legit hot. Like it's not warm, it's fucking hot. And so we had to postpone the tailgate. And then in the middle of the show, if you remember that car, that was like,
we almost got run over.
It was a Karen. It was a true Karen.
Big time Karen.
Big time Karen. She was like, no, you'll move those tables. This is a free parking lot. This is public. You have to move. And we're
in
like,
the middle of the show,
we're not doing that.
Getting run over. She barely nicked our table as she went into.
We actually had to have a fan's butt on camera for a split second. His belt buckle and everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you want to go back and watch that on YouTube, hammer that like button just in case. But the funniest part is, too, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, again, coming from the land of the ice and snow, I am of the north. But I was freezing at App State. Oh, not App State. Sorry, Winston-Salem, and we went to Wake Forest.
Right. Well, I think we were all freezing at that game. My feet had never hurt.
I was underprepared, too, because I'm like, I'm in North Carolina. It doesn't get cold in North Carolina. I didn't realize where exactly we were. We were elevated. We were a little bit into the mountains almost. And holy shit, I was freezing. My face froze and dried and cracked up, and eczema started going all over my face. And I'm like, I'm going to die. When I just realized, no, it's just, you're really cold and dry.
Yeah, I think I was definitely the Boy Scout there. I supplied a poncho and a jacket to Jimmy, our producer. I provided a jacket to, or a flannel of some sort to Joe.
And a sweatshirt.
And a sweatshirt. And of course, I was layered to go. So I was good, except I didn't wear thick enough socks. I was wearing church socks that day. So it was like, well, another memorable moment
church
for me.
Socks?
Yeah, I'm wearing them right now.
Are those socks you wear?
Dress shirt.
Church.
Dress socks.
Oh,
dress socks.
Church socks.
I call them church socks. Because back in the day when I was growing up, you had church socks and you had play socks, and you weren't allowed to wear church socks.
You went to church?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're an example.
Voluntarily.
Church does not help if Tansey went to church his whole life.
No, I voluntarily went to church as a youth. I was into it. I was a surfer, and
big Jesus guy.
They had like little church on the surfboards out in the water. That was a cool thing to do back then. It was called Three Fins Out. So if there's anybody out there that's listening that was part of the Three Fins Out movement, it was something. But
I mean, we've manned the elements. We talk about hot. We talk about cold. It poured on us at Duke.
Oh, Duke, yeah, where it was raining and we were in a flood.
Yeah, and then it opened up for a second, and then it rained back down on us again.
But that was a fun game to watch. We were in the front row. We were right down on the field.
Yep.
And it was interesting. I think you got stung by a bee or something.
No, I thought I was going to get stung by a bee, and I was afraid because I don't like to get stung by a bee, and you just straight clapped it. And I've never seen someone just clap a bee. And it's weird because it's something like, it's like getting a shot.
I got stung by a bee.
You did. That was, a couple shows ago. But the thing about like bees to me, like I hate needles. I can't even watch someone on TV like shoot up heroin. You know what I mean? I can't watch that. It gives me the willy-nilly jillies. Now, I had to get a tetanus shot because I got bit by a dog last year. And I was like, please no, please no. And then I got it, and I'm like, that's what I was bitching about? It's the same thing as a bee. You don't want to get stung, or a spider. Don't bite me. But if it actually happens, it's really not that bad. It's like the beforehand, the idea of getting stung or the idea of getting a shot is worse than actually receiving it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the funniest tailgate moments, I think, was when the very beautiful girl, cougar, right? She was a cougar when she fell out of the chair. That was cougar status, right? She was of cougar age. Okay. Oh, that would be a gilf. She was a gilf. So yeah, that was the NC.
She was jacked.
She was such good
little
shape.
too muscular for me.
I think she had fakies.
I think she had a dress on, and I think when she fell, I saw up that dress.
Okay.
Luckily, she was wearing panties that day.
Yeah, but
They
she
were
was
black, by
awesome.
the way.
She was really funny. She had a great attitude. That whole tailgate had a great attitude. And then we
Mimosas.
mimosas. And then she fell out of the chair. Hilarious. And then we walked over so another tailgate head came over to watch our show, invited us to come and to eat some of their food, and then found out that Dan Holloway had just recently been on Tucker Carlson. And once they found that out, they kicked us out of the tailgate.
And let us just say now, specifically and especially, that was at UNC at Chapel Hill.
That was my least favorite tailgate.
Now, listen, the thing is, there were some assholes there, too. And there was actually a lot of good people there. There was actually, friendly people that enjoyed us, enjoyed our show, enjoyed everything about Drinkin' Bros. But there's always one person,
Karen.
right? And that'll
She had the
ruin...
Karen haircut, too.
Oh, everything about her.
And she was fat.
Yes. I mean... Yes, she was. but anyway.
I don't fat shame, though.
And let's be clear, we don't kink shame, but we do fat shame.
Listen, Joe Rogan, the great Joe Rogan, always says that fat shaming works. It works.
Obviously, shaming doesn't work because you're still wearing pajamas on airplanes.
And I still will. I always will. I'm not wearing pajamas today, though. I almost did. I went all spiffy and wore a flannel instead of my comfies.
I got to go Christmas shopping. I found out this week that my son has never been to a mall. They've never been to a mall. So I'm going to take him to a mall. No, I'm not going to take him to Crabtree. I'm not a fucking savage. I'm taking him to the Triangle Town Center. Yeah, I know. It's even worse. But you know what? I could take him to the Durham Mall, but they just had a mass shooting there a couple weeks ago,
thanks.
so they're not going to go there. But yeah, I think the UNC Chapel Hill game, although that was one of the better food tailgates, we had Wagyu beef burgers for that tailgate.
Bougie.
Bougie as fuck. Another a great tailgate, maybe one of my other favorite tailgates was at Manning's Restaurant. Howard Manning joined us on a couple of shows as a chef, making us some great tailgate food. And he's just such a character. Needs his own podcast for sure. But, that was a lot of fun being with Micah from the Clamps, Spring Back Clamps. And then, out of that spawned them calling us back almost a year later and saying, hey, man, we've got this guy that's about to break the burpee record. And we literally did a show in the fucking Thunderdome.
Yeah, that was the Thunderdome. It was a little bit hard to hear at times.
Very hard to hear.
I haven't listened back to the audio yet, but I'm sure it sounds great. But at the time, I mean, you weren't that far away from me. But all I could see was like your mouth moving, and I'm like, I got nothing, man. I have no fucking idea. There's a guy jumping up and down behind me. I think he's gonna puke. If not, I'm probably gonna puke.
Do you notice I put you on that side of the table because I knew that in my brain I was like, if this guy throws up, he's probably gonna throw up right here. So we're gonna put Joe right over there.
Stand by me, projectile vomit.
It's likely the clearest audio that we had gotten. It had almost zero bleed in from the other audio from the back.
Huh.
Wow.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
It was loud in there.
It was very
and
loud.
He came
but
up
it was
just
very
short.
Exciting. It was a very exciting.
It was exciting. He came up just short, but his attitude after, I mean, that I cannot stress enough that was inspiring because I would have been so fucking down. I would have been like, I let everyone down. I embarrassed myself. I did that for nothing. He was like, I'll be back.
Give a fuck.
He's like, I'll be back.
He's like, training on the gym on Monday. You go straight to jail. That's my
I don't think he
Venezuelan
sounded
impression.
a lot like that, but hey, it's worth
You're not
a
doing
shot,
the
I suppose.
burpees, straight to jail. Yeah, he had a great accent. I was like, what is that accent, New Jersey? He was like, no, it's Honduras. And I was like, how about another shrimp on the bobby, mate? No, I don't even think it was Honduras. I have no idea what it was. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless services online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton. When phone plans starting at just $15 a month, I've been using Mint Mobile long before the holiday deal, and I have to say it's the perfect time to switch. We use Mint Mobile on the Failure to Stop call-in show on Tuesday nights, the night shift. And listen, we've used the Mint Mobile phone many times at tailgates. When we were in Boone and App States, our Verizon phones were not working. And luckily we have our Mint Mobile phone, and it's shocking. It's a better plan. We love our Mint Mobile phone. It's the only phone I use. Going forward, it's the only phone I'll use. But this holiday deal is super. I'm going to take advantage of it. My kids are about the age where they need a phone, and so
they're going to the mall.
They may be getting a phone, a Mint Mobile, for Christmas. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here for a limited time. Buy any 3-month plan and get 3 more months for free by going online only, because they don't have. This is why Mint Mobile is such a good deal, is because they don't have retail stores, which take up so much more money. Everything is done online. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. With Mint Mobile, choose the amount of monthly data that's right for you and stop paying for data that you never use. Use your phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. That's a perfect plan for any child, any teenager, or any adult for that matter. It's a great plan. Trust me, that's the plan that we have right now on our Drinkin' Bros Mint Mobile, and it's perfect. Called for right now, limited time. Buy the 3-month Mint Mobile plan. Get the 3 months free. MintMobile.com/Drinkin' Bros. DRINKIN Bros. That's MintMobile.com/Drinkin' Bros. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month. MintMobile.com/Drinkin' Bros.
And that's Ryan Reynolds' company, I have found out. And I saw a commercial. Ryan Reynolds doing a Mint Mobile commercial on my television. And Ryan Reynolds.
Basically, we know Ryan Reynolds now.
Pretty much.
Basically, we're homies.
We're pretty much that. We've docked a few times.
Basically, best friends.
So
we're coworkers.
Yeah, pretty much. A quick Ryan Reynolds thing. I think it'd be a cool guy. Like most celebrities suck. Let's be honest here. I'd say 90. They're almost on politician status. But he seems like he'd be a cool guy to grab a beer with. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Waiting.
Yeah, love it.
Hilarious movie.
Yes.
He's fucking great in that movie.
So is that other guy that kind of just disappeared off the face of the planet.
Justin Long?
No, the
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook. Whatever happened to Dane Cook?
Dane Cook's from Boston. He's from
in jail?
No, so the thing about he was kind of like
Is it a sexual assault case?
I thought he got canceled. I thought he did some
well, everyone gets canceled, but I think the thing with Dane Cook is like he appealed to me big time because it was like middle school humor when I was in middle school, like tire in the fucking face, and he's really animated.
Who's in my mouth?
But yes, so what he's kind of like to me is like butt rock of music. Sorry, Lastro Lopez, but like Nickelback and Three Doors Down and stuff like that's like butt
Can
rock.
you take me?
That's Creed. I really like Creed actually. But anyway, but you're right. Like so, like the butt rock, and Dan Cook was like the butt comedy, if you will. Mm-hmm. So he flamed out real quick. He was in a couple movies like Good Luck Chuck
was
or
he
whatever.
A butt cuck?
maybe he was, but they could not make Waiting nowadays. If you go back and watch that movie, within the first 10 minutes...
Most movies, think about this show, The Office. Can you even recreate The Office these days? I mean...
Now you have a warning label before every episode. This may offend you. And
I just realized that they have warning labels on movies now that have smoking. Like it'll say, rated PG, smoking.
Used to be encouraged back in the day. There were people smoking cigarettes on the news.
Pinocchio, in the original Peter Pan, like all the Indians, the red-faced Indians in Peter Pan, they're all like smoking.
The peace
cigars.
pipe?
No, they were smoking cigars, peace
okay.
pipes. They were smoking all sorts of shit, but very politically incorrect these days.
I think Peter Pan was ahead of his time. I think he was gender fluid way before that was a thing.
He was wearing tights.
Yeah,
I'm all in on that.
You could see everything.
Speaking of celebrities and cool celebrities, out of all the celebrities we've gotten to meet, the list is very long at this point. I mean, we've met the guy from NSYNC,
Chris Kirkpatrick, Ron White,
Kid Rock.
His name's Bob.
John Daly, Ray Cashcare, Adam Ray, Aqib Talib,
Chuck Liddell,
geez,
Michael
come on.
Irvin.
I mean, Willie Parker, Antoine Harris, Khalil Ali. Who was your least favorite celebrity?
Oh, my least favorite. I thought you were going to say most, and I was going to answer very quickly.
We'll go back to most. But let's do least first.
Oh man, my least favorite. Probably Delco Dan. No, I'm just kidding.
He was your favorite. You guys were like fucking.
I know we had a nice little broman. You took a picture of us in Nashville. And I posted because he's showing me something on his phone, and I did the question, what's Delco showing Boston Joe? He messages me, why does this picture exist? Like, I love you too, Delco. I'm like, I don't know, fucking Tansey took a picture of it. We were having a moment there. Geez, my least favorite. I don't know if I have a least favorite. I think.
I do.
Who is it?
Adam Ray. I don't like the guy. I think he's arrogant. I think he's full of himself. I think he's kind of an asshole, and I think thinks he's way cooler than he actually is.
So the thing with that is,
but I've only met him for 2 nights.
I barely talked to him, so I don't really have an experience with him. We didn't really.
Hey, he said he asked me what do I do, and I think that's such a shitty question to ask somebody. Hey, what do you do? I don't know. I would never start my conversation. So what do you do? I'm a janitor. I don't know. Fucking, who gives a shit?
There's only one answer. Your mom.
Yeah, right. And I told him that I had recently been a cop, and he was like, "That sucks." And he's like, "So you just spent all your time harassing homeless people?" And I was like, "Fuck you, dude. Fuck you." That was my attitude. Not sure if he was just trying to be funny, but I kind of took it as he definitely doesn't support the police. And as you know, I'm a huge supporter of the police. So I really disliked the guy, and I thought he had just a weird attitude the whole time. He was late. He came in like he owned the fucking place, and clearly he didn't. I mean, we're in there with Michael Irvin and Chuck Liddell. They fucking own the place. And, I didn't even know who he was. So, in my opinion, I wasn't a huge fan.
You also didn't know who Michael Irvin was.
That's true. I did not know who Michael Irvin was. To be honest with you, I thought he was a little short to be a basketball player. I thought he was going to be a lot taller than that.
I almost wish that I had a least favorite because I would love to trash on someone right now, to be honest, but I feel like I didn't have any. I mean, Kid Rock was a little grumpy, but
well, he was sober, so I mean,
I did have an interaction with him. We were grabbing shrimp cocktail next to each other. I was like pretending to be classy, right? And he just kind of went, yeah. So but I don't want to badmouth Kid Rock. I mean, honestly, I do. I wish that I had someone that I disliked that I could just start shitting on, but I don't. It's crazy. Which I am full of hate, so I'm surprised right now that I can't.
Yeah, that's strange. I mean. You could just say Eric Tansey. We had our moment in Nashville where I got super drunk and he pushed me into the bushes.
Well, he tried to push me into it.
Don't really remember it, but I've heard about it enough times.
Yeah, and I pushed you into the bush because you were.
And then I think that night I went back to the hotel and I tried to stick my finger in my wife's butt while watching South Park. She turned South Park off and made me take my finger out of her butt. And then she said, stop fingering my butt and turn that show off. And then I said, South Park is my favorite show of all time. I love South Park. And she was like, you've never even fucking seen South Park in the 12 years that we've been together. You've never watched South Park. Get your hand out of my ass and turn the TV off.
Get your hand out of my ass.
And I don't remember any of that, but she enjoys telling that story, and my wife doesn't really enjoy telling it.
That was actually me.
Sorry. But that was an interesting trip, the Nashville trip. Nashville is a beautiful town. I think out of all the towns that we visited so far, that was my favorite town. How about this? What was your favorite stadium? Of all the stadiums we visited, what was your favorite stadium?
Jerry World was incredible. And the fact that
it was breathtaking, actually.
It was, and it was like we didn't see a football game that we saw a fight, the Canelo Alvarez fight. And it was just like I caught myself just sort of like looking around and just taking it all in. And it was like 95% Mexicans because one, we're in Texas. Two, Canelo Alvarez is Mexican. So it was a home field for him. And it was incredible. Just like the atmosphere. We saw a couple fights from afar. And we were in the nicest suite in the whole fucking place. Yeah. We were dressed dapper.
Yeah.
You're welcome for that.
Which was funny because it was like everybody told us like, hey, bring boxing attire. Ross said, bring boxing attire. And I called Boston Joe and I was like, hey, he's told us to bring fight attire, which I think you went out and bought a suit, didn't you?
Yes, I did because I did not own.
I was fucking classy as fuck anyway, so I already had many to choose from.
all those church
many fine
Sundays you were
church
going
Sunday
to.
suits. So we pick out our suits and everything, and we literally get to Jerry World. And this is a great story, but we get there to Jerry World, and we took an Uber, and we didn't go with the crew.
An expensive Uber.
We didn't go with the crew, so we took an expensive Uber, and we get to the front of the stadium. We jump out and we're just we're taking all these pictures. It's a massive building, right? And we get in there and we got our cell phones, we got our tickets, and we cannot find our seats on any map anywhere in the stadium. And so we go to this guy wearing a bright green shirt that says security. And we're like, hey man, we can't find our seats anywhere on any of these maps. And he's like, let me see your seats. And he goes, oh, come with me. So he takes us over to a little tiny office with some guys
Security
with bright orange
escort.
guys. This guy's got a supervisor shirt on, and he shows him our tickets, and he goes, oh man, who the fuck are you? Oh, it don't matter. Get in the front, you get in the back, let's go. So they take us to these elevators. We go down the elevator underneath Jerry World. It's like going underneath Disney World. And we go to the suite. We knock on the door. Chuck Liddell rips open the door, and he's like, where have you been? And we're like, dude, we got lost. We couldn't even find our suite. We were walking all around looking at all the maps, and he's like, what did you do coming through the front? We were like, yeah. And he goes, peasants.
We learned. We realized real quick
But we were the only ones wearing suits. We were the only ones dressed up.
A couple other people dressed up. Maybe didn't look as good as us.
The girls were dressed up than us.
Dan Holloway wasn't getting dressed up. Ross was a little dressed up. Chuck had a nice shirt on.
And he had a shirt that said "Violence is the answer" or something.
Was that the day he wore that?
I don't know. He had his Pokemon. Well, he had his camouflage fanny pack on and his Pokemon cell phone.
Well, my first interaction with Chuck Liddell.
He was my favorite, by the way.
He puts down his phone, and I was like, "Oh, is that a Pikachu case? I love Pokemon, Chuck." And he's like, "My daughter gave it to me. I don't know what that is." And I'm like, "Oh." Anyway, but then I later asked him about his penis. So
yes,
that's always a high moment in my life.
I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, he laughed extremely. He was genuinely laughing.
Yeah, he was.
I think he didn't want to laugh. I think he was like, "This is out of my character," but I can't stop laughing.
I think he realized real quick what he got into too. Being a part of the Drinkin Bros, where he's like, I want to talk about these fights, and then we're over here talking about Ross asked him about his fuck game. Chuck, how's your fuck game? So I think he's assimilated and he's a part of the crew and everything. But yeah, those were some interesting moments. I never thought I would be drinking whiskey with John Daly or asking Chuck Liddell about his penis. But
right, two of my favorite celebrities, they're definitely Chuck Liddell and Khalil Ali. Those were my two favorite moments. My favorite stadium, though, was not Jerry World. My favorite stadium was App State.
Yeah,
I think it was the most beautiful stadium with the mountains just peering over. You're sitting on the guy. The whole game was like a
Grateful Dead concert.
It was like weed was everywhere. Yeah. Everybody was
on the grass, hippies
grinding on each other. Just moving. Everybody was happy. The chants, the songs, everything about that tailgate, everything about that stadium. We got to storm the field that night, which was incredible. Just aside from the energy of the tailgate, the stadium really was the most beautiful stadium that I think we visited.
No, I agree. Especially it's an outdoor stadium, but no, the view was great, and the atmosphere. That was one of my favorite places we went to. Just everything about it, because I like balance, and I mentioned this about App State before in Boone. It's you got your good old boys with screaming, "Let's go, Brandon!" But then you also have these hippie dippies who are
also screaming, "Let's go!" Yeah,
also screaming, "Let's go, Brandon!"
I think everybody was at that game.
But sure, but it was. I love balance like that, where you have your good old boys and you have your hippie dippies. Yeah, the sun is right in my eyes right now. So this is just more product placement for Instill Distilling Company. That's all it really is get that kid an Instill hat so that we can get more advertising for Instill Distilling Company. But it looks like we have some more advertisers too, don't we?
Speaking of advertisers, the one sponsor that was with us from the beginning, every single show.
Day one homies.
Paid for us to go to so many games, paid for the tickets. I mean, over and beyond. And they're my favorite network sponsor. They do great for Failure to Stop, for all the shows across the board, and that is Ghostbed. They have been a loyal sponsor of the Drinkin Bros for 5 years, and after Christmas, we're going to be saying over 6 years, because they have signed on for another contract with Drinkin Bros, and so just absolute loyal sponsors, the best beds. Everybody in the network's got one, and everybody raves about them. My favorite part is they're made in the good old
USA. USA.
I'm really going to miss doing that. Every mattress has a 20-year warranty. Some even have 25. You can try them out for 101 nights, not 98, not 99. If you don't like them, you can easily return them. No hard feelings.
But you won't.
And another one of our favorite parts about Ghost Bed is that they have that cooling technology. So even though that we're here in Texas,
Are we in Texas?
no, we're not. We're in North Carolina.
Please read verbatim.
Please read verbatim. I feel like president. I feel like a president reading a prompt here. But if you get hot like you do here in North Carolina in the summers, that cooling technology can really keep you cool while staying hard. Stay hard while staying cool on a Ghost Bed. They offer bundles so that you can get everything you need. You don't even have to really think about it. Just choose from their 4 mattresses and then pick your bundle. So whether you just need a mattress and a frame or you want it all,
I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. Real quick, Mike thinks he can sing, I think. Mike, you cannot sing.
no.
I can't either, but at least I don't pretend.
No, you can sing. You don't sing great, but you can sing.
Mike's like falsetto is just too like, I don't even know. Anyway,
I don't know. Whatever just happened there was like angels descended from heaven.
And came all over our face. Wait, what? Nephilim? They created the Nephilim when they fucked people? The angels? Biblical? What?
That escalated quickly. But if you like their cooling pillows and sheets, you can get the best bang for your buck. Right now, Ghost Bed is offering 40% off Ghost Bed bundles where you get a mattress and adjustable base. God, I got to go to church after this. 30% off of everything if you use that code Drinkin Bros. That's DRINKINBROS at ghostbed.com/DrinkinBros. You can buy a mattress for like $35 a month, 0 down, 0% financing, up to 60 months. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros.
Speaking of church, another guest that we had.
Take me to church. I'm like a dog, like a whisper.
Anyway, John Murray. I think he prefers Jonathan. We did it right here, and so it was honestly one of my favorites just because of what we were talking about. And I joked around about angels coming on my face and giving me crispy, clean, nice skin.
Yes.
But that is a kind of biblical story about the Nephilim, right? Where the angels come down and fuck the beautiful woman of earth and create giants and Nephilim and all this and that. And I remember asking Jonathan Murray, like, why is that taken out of the Bible? Why is, it was Jonah's grandfather, and his name is slipping my mind right now. The Book of Enoch. That's what it is. The Book of Enoch. Why is it taken out of the Bible? And I thought as a guy who is a devout Christian, full-on Christian.
I mean, he has a Christian YouTube channel with over 500,000 subscribers.
But he is at least open-minded enough to have the conversations that we had with him, which I think
It's a
was
great show to go
super,
back and watch.
super important and great that he was able to be like, no, it's Jesus is the answer and there's no other thing.
I think he falls under that group of non-denominational type
Yeah.
Christians where they
Yeah.
have
For sure.
faith, but they know that as time progresses and knowledge progresses, so should we.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
Right.
dope. But
Yeah, he's a good guy. And just genuinely, he's a good person. It was really funny. I went to a Harvard.
He can sing, by the way.
Oh yes, he can sing, and I was in his music video, which is really really cool. This is War. YouTube. This is War music video by Jonathan Murray. You'll see my beautiful face in there a few times. But I went into a random hardware store, and this woman goes, "Oh my God, I know you," and I was like, ooh, because we are in the podcast world, and so people don't know your voices. Like, I wore this Guns Up Giddy Up shirt to Nashville, and this guy was like, "Guns Up Giddy Up, I fucking love Failure to Stop, man, Wolfpack." And then I was like, "Yeah, baby, Wolfpack." And he walked away. My wife goes, "You know that he has no idea that you're the host of that show, right?" Like, if you would have told that guy you were the host, you would have made his fucking year. He just saw the shirt because all they hear is a voice. They don't see a face. So I walked in the store, and I knew it wasn't that this lady watches YouTube. And I was just kind of looking at her like, "Ooh, how do you know who I am?" She was like, "You were in the Jonathan Murray music video." I was like, "I was in that music video, yes." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite music videos of all time."
He's been like, hell yeah.
And I was like, "Shit, you want to give me a discount on these, on this petrol fuel that I'm about to buy here?" But no, I mean, Jonathan Murray was really great. And then we had Susie. The sex expert who has a sex blog.
Yeah, and you were off the rails on that one.
Oh, I love talking about sex. We all know that.
Jimmy, you got to go back on that show and somehow can like get drops of Tansey doing Tanseyisms and play them on Failure to Stop. Are you gay? Am I gay? Blah. That was when the blah was born.
I had to be drunk. Well, I wasn't. My plan wasn't to get drunk on that show, but when she started out with what was the first sentence she came out with
tantric. Or
no,
whatever.
it was like not coming.
Yeah,
because we were
holding
going to
your
the Super Bowl,
comeback.
holding your comeback. I forgot
forget
the
what
term,
it was
but she
called.
used like the scientific word for it, and I was like,
Obviously, we didn't learn. You know?
and I laughed my ass off. Oh, semen retention. She started the show off with semen retention, and I giggled, and then I just started sucking down whatever drink Dave was bringing us, and I just went one after the other. And
You
by
were
the end
sucking
of it,
something down.
I don't remember any of the questions I asked her, they were all sexual and perverted. Because look, I'm a fucking dirtbag, right? That's why I have 4 kids, because I can't stop, won't stop.
Failure to
fornicating. With my wife. Allegedly. But that was a very fun show, and that was again with Manning. And the great thing is we've gotten to work with 2 extremely amazing producers. We started out with Noel, who was incredible because it was during COVID. He was one of the main sound technicians for Sting.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. His parents are Willie Nelson's the godparent of his children. They hang out with Willie. They talk on the phone a bunch.
Neil Young.
Going and writing books with these guys and going on these like crazy
He
trips
was just with Sturgill Simpson, too.
and just his professionalism and because they weren't touring, he came on board with us on our podcast and worked with us for probably 6 or 7 months, maybe more. And his professionalism was by far, I learned so much about just genuine professionalism, showing up on time, how to not pay attention to the celebrity and really owning the production aspect of everything. And it was just really good, a learning experience. He was way out of our league. Obviously COVID ended and he got to go back on tour, doing, big stuff with big people. But, the fact that he was humble enough to come and work on a small podcast with us was inspirational, and it was just
especially when he
nice.
he didn't agree with most of the stuff we were talking about. But he didn't get in the way of that ever. And also, we've been lucky enough to have some pretty good chefs on too. You talked about Howard Manning, Joe Puhawk. Every time Joe Puhawk would show up and make something, I was in.
Yeah.
And even stuff that I never would have tried. Like we I forget what you call it, feng shui, whatever the fuck it was. Some Asian.
I think Feng Shui is the girl that disappeared in China. She got kidnapped. Is that her name?
Fuck you, China. Anyway.
Feng Shui is actually a form of decorating in which you create flow and positive chi within your home.
Oh.
So, Jimmy, there's a switch right there to turn off your mic.
Which one?
And then we got the producer, Jimmy, the overpaid producer, Jimmy.
You're like, wait a minute. Oh, wait. You know who I fucking hate?
Yeah, the best part about Noel was that he never grabbed a microphone. No, I'm kidding.
We told him to eventually, actually. I liked what Noel had to say.
Yeah, because
he
Noel
didn't like what I had to say, but hey.
Yeah, Noel always brought something fun to the table. But the food that Joe Puhawk brought was incredible. I remember the first meal that Chef Puhawk made for us was Wagyu beef Rothless burgers with Willie Parker.
I call them rapeless burgers, but okay.
It was they got raped this last weekend by the Vikings,
Yeah.
who lost to the Lions. And I saw somebody redecorated the Steelers logo, but they put the lions and the stars instead of the stars, which is really cute.
The Steelers also tied the Lions, Buddha. Remember Buddha?
Yes, yeah. We had a manager for a little bit, and he was a lot of fun, and he did a lot of our hard work with us. But then we realized that
Saw Buddha Friday night.
that was expensive, and we were grown up enough as we learned that we could probably do a lot of the scheduling ourselves. But he was essential in the beginning when we were never have done this before, and scheduling flights and Ubers and traveling around the United States and going to Dallas and Austin.
I really felt like a part of the team in the beginning when you guys booked the flight to Austin when we went and did the Super Bowl show with, all the boys and girls out there, and you and Buddha sat together, and you had me sit far away from you two. That was when I really was like, I'm really a part of this now. I'm really a part of this team. They don't want me to sit anywhere near them.
That's
but then
because you were wearing pajamas.
But the joke was on you because later that weekend, we ended up snugging on that ghost bed and watching Tom Brady win his 7th Super Bowl, which I got to say, I know I'm a fucking homer, but I don't care. I'm all in, baby.
Now,
Mac Jones is going to the Super Bowl and defeating Tom Brady. Joe Stradamus, final prediction of the year. Patriots win the Super Bowl against the Bucks. Mac Daddy Jones and Bill Belichick flex their
who
beach
was
cocks.
your favorite drinking bro? Out of all the drinking bros that came to see us, that hung out with us, who is your favorite?
Wow, there's just so many. I mean, we had That's you know what? I'm gonna have to circle back on that one and really think
Ooh,
about
a
that.
little circle back girl. Aren't
Yeah, a
you?
little circle back because I ain't no circle back.
I
Girl.
think
Wait a
the
second.
two that went all in.
Why isn't there a parody song of I ain't no circle back girl?
Ain't
Jen
no Sarah
Psaki.
back girl.
Jen Psaki.
I'll look. I think that there's two
Okay.
that we have to pick, maybe, and then I'll just pick one, and you pick whichever one I don't pick because they're both equally, maybe, or if you don't think so. But I think Ben Marsh and Austin have been to the most tailgates and have been in the live chats.
Austin
more than anybody else. Of course,
Austin
we
is
can
our
pick
number
Lázaro
one
Lopez,
fan.
but he works for.
Yeah, he's part of the team.
So you pick Austin, I'll pick Ben. Those two have been in every show, have seen every show, and
Austin's a diehard though. I mean, he showed up even without telling us. So just found us in the parking lot sometimes. Austin, you're the real MVP. Austin.
he is. He would find us so randomly at some of these games, and he would always bring tons of booze.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, yeah.
And he got rocked at the
NC State game.
He got
my
fucking
gosh.
rocked.
He sure did. That was fucking awesome. But then later on, Jimmy did the rock in the stands. So
Well, that's right. We went to NC State, and Jimmy, our producer,
when I
who does
first
not drink.
yeah, I
got
found out
invited.
Jimmy was crazy on that night.
That was
that's when
fun.
I first.
That was a
realized.
lot of fun.
I saw that look in his eye.
That was when we brought Katie Lane on for the first time.
Someone else who I also saw Friday night.
Fell in love. Oh, did you?
I did. I ran into her Friday night.
Ran
And
into her?
yeah. Oh yeah, she was
Like, did you get
in full Katie form. Just kidding.
just
Katie.
loving you, just lusting over your blue eyes? Oh, you're
Yeah.
so beautiful, Joe.
You think that she's the only one that does that to me, though?
No.
No, of course
No,
not.
no. You've snagged a couple of girls from these shows. You dirty dog.
Can neither confirm nor deny. Listen, I can't help if I'm handsome.
Okay, so what was your favorite girl?
Hey, oh.
Oh, and I guess
Wait
we
a
have your
damn-
mom. We have your mom as being one of the biggest fans as well. She has been in a lot of live chats.
Well, I was
She's my favorite. Your mom's my favorite.
My
Your
mom's
mom
my favorite
is
too.
my
I would
favorite.
listen. My mom knows this. I would be nowhere without my mother, but that's also because I don't have a dad, which was again an ongoing joke.
I just want to thank God that my mother did not watch a single one of these shows.
Well, that's what I was going to say when you brought up Susie and the sex cast that we had, because it was very early on, and she was so proud and posting, "Oh, my handsome son is doing his radio bit or whatever it is." And I called her up, was like, "Mother, I know you listen to all my shows and you post them, but maybe this one you can sit this one out." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then she watches it in 10 minutes, and she's like, "Joseph, I don't think I can continue. Once I heard you use the term analingus, I think I was out."
We did talk about analingus on that show.
It's ass eating season, baby.
It is ass eating season.
Full on
yeah,
ass eating
Pinecone Day is coming up. So for all you nooners, you Ross Patterson Revolution nooners, Pinecone Day, one of my favorite days of the year. Well, the first interactions I ever had with Drinkin Bros was I started out as a nooner before I was a podcaster for Drinkin Bros, and I sent a box of pine cones that I decorated for Pinecone Day, and they got returned to sender months later. Like, I sent them before December 12th. I sent them in late November so that they would get there, and they got returned to sender in February. But I remember thinking man, I really do like them, but they must be so popular that I decorated these pine cones and they didn't even give me a shout out. These guys must be really busy. They never got them. It's like that song from Eminem, Dear Stan, where the dude murders his girlfriend and then finally Eminem reads the note.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a true story.
Well, I figured that now with your instant success with Failure to Stop, I wonder if there's a couple stanzies out there. Some stands of Tansey. Some
No, I
stanzies.
don't- well, I
which, by
hope
the way,
not.
Tansey lives on, baby. It is never going away.
Boy, that is not going away. I actually got a call from the network after the show that I said, now that I'm you have one of the number 3 shows on the network, I'm going to demand that they change the label or I'm not re-signing my contract. And I just got a message back that said, well, you won't have a fucking job because we're not re-changing that transvestite looking photo of you. So you're not that big time. So yeah, I guess I'm not that successful.
Maybe if you grew some facial hair, people wouldn't get you mistaken for Ellen DeGeneres.
Face of that was really funny that somebody pulled. She was almost wearing the same suit jacket that I was. They said who wore it better, me or Ellen DeGeneres. But that show has been pretty fun as well, and hopefully that paves the way to
To get an Ellen on your show?
To get this show back on its feet for the holiday. Hopefully we'll have enough followers.
Maybe if you dance around in an Ellen suit and do an Ellen parody show and you dance around and appeal to all the middle-aged housewives out there, then maybe we can be as successful as Ellen DeGeneres.
And I think we'll probably have some more like pop-in stuff where it's like the Super Bowl show. They might have us come back for
Sure
the
hope
Super
so,
Bowl
because
show
I would love to see Mac Jones win.
Maybe we could start the Ellen DeTransius show. Eric Tansey.
Oh, okay. I see where
Doesn't
you're
really
going.
roll off the tongue, but you're onto something, I think.
But Ellen rolls off the tongue quite a bit. I bet you she can eat a pussy.
Who is I'm sure. But who was it? Who is she with? She's with the woman
Really?
from
Isn't she-
Arrested Development, I
Isn't
thought,
she really
right?
pretty?
Yeah, she's with the chick from Ellen from Arrested Development. Look her up since you got a laptop out in front of you.
Ellen's
And while we're on that subject, let's talk about some of our favorite lesbians. Yeah, Portia something.
Oh yeah, Portia de Rossi.
Yeah.
And she's cute.
She's in Arrested Development. And
Oh yeah, she's really pretty. She's a lot prettier than Ellen, which is what people say about my wife to me.
Well, you want to know something though? Usually with I'm going to stereotype here, but with lesbian couples, this
Ellen just looks like a bitch though. Like she looks fake as fuck. She's got that Hillary Clinton look to her.
yeah, which we are not fans of Hillary, and
Hillary.
Ghislaine Maxwell sleeps with one eye open these nights in prison, waiting for the day that Hillary comes.
These sleepless nights are tearing me apart.
Is his button next to my switch?
No, you guys never heard that song?
No, I think you just wrote that.
No, it's what Dangerous Games, right? These dangerous games are tearing me. Who wrote that song?
Your rendition was horrible.
Ellen almost got canceled during COVID.
I thought she did
Because she was
did-
mean.
Well,
She did get
she
canceled.
managed to find her way back in, but she didn't get fully canceled. Like, oh, she's gone. She went silent for a little bit, similar to the way Jimmy Kimmel did.
When he was in blackface making fun of Karl Malone. It's funny how that
He
works.
said he's sorry, and it's okay. It's okay.
We don't forget Jimmy.
We don't.
Jimmy Kimmel used to be cool. Used to be on the Man Show and used to be like, yeah, or leaning into the whole
I
thing.
remember if you look up, like, he would have Slipknot on, like huge performances. Like, what night show has Slipknot?
Yeah,
come on?
and he-
like,
Anything that is woke goes to shit. Like the former president. Some would say that he's still the president. I'm not in that camp. But let's be honest here. Watching Joe Biden be a train wreck isn't as fun as the train wreck that was Donald Trump. Trump was a train wreck too, but at least he was a fun train wreck. At least you could laugh with him.
he was a train wreck that you could afford to fill up your tank and listen to.
Yeah, remember when gas was $1.99?
We listened after we watched the SpaceX launch. We were driving back, and Trump spoke. And I think anybody that doesn't like Donald Trump needs to listen to the speech he did after SpaceX launches people up. Like, it was. You listen to it, you're like, oh.
Well, that's the new sort of, I don't know if it's QAnon, but the sort of right-wing take and conspiracy theory, if you will, is they're going to try to make Trump the Speaker of the House,
So
which is hilarious.
I have audio on my phone. I got stopped in a Harris Teeter. I was getting coffee. My chip in my card didn't work, and this lady was kind enough to pay for my coffee. So she wanted to talk a little bit, so I was trying to, like, be nice back because she did that kind gesture. She's a QAnoner, I guess is what it is, right? She's telling me that this was on a Wednesday. She was letting me know that to be prepared because on Friday, the reason my card didn't work is because Trump's underground force was redoing the entire bank system so they could shut the world down. He was going to take over the air. This is not a joke. She was telling me this in a Harris Teeter. He's going to take over the airwaves. I'm telling you, they have the God laser. They have lasers that can take you down. That the Queen is already dead. Joe Biden's already dead. She's saying all these crazy things.
Joe Biden is dead.
Man, I don't know what that song is. You guys don't know what that song is?
That's what I'm saying. I think he just made it up.
Tearing me.
Sounds like every like Christina Aguilera song. But you talked about that whole crazy conspiracy, Jimmy. I'll do you one better. They have people who believe that JFK is still alive, Michael Jackson is still alive, and they're going to be the ones to expose the Hollywood elites because Michael Jackson wasn't a child diddler rapist who should be dead and should have been dead a long time ago, but that's a whole different story. But then JFK Jr. is also sort of on Trump's side, which adds fuel to the QAnon fire. And I might have some relatives who are like, oh, no, it's not QAnon. That's what...
Oh, we've said that too many times. We're going to get kicked off of the fucking show.
Too late. That's not what the mainstream media wants you to say. It's just Q. Listen, there was a great documentary, apparently, that Joe Rogan raves about. So if Joe Rogan can say it, we can say it, right? We just go by that standard.
We did have the conspiracy theory show.
We did. We had a couple. We had the sports one, and we had a life conspiracy. I mean, I could go all day on conspiracy.
So the one that we did on Failure to Stop got us a 7-day ban on Mike the Cop's YouTube channel. 7-day ban.
What did you say?
We
that
don't
was,
know.
Because it's
Said it
not
was
the
bullying
flat
and
Earth.
harassing. So we looked up the rules of YouTube, and it's when you link people to crimes in conspiracy theories, that's when you get in trouble.
So, like, if
But
I
they
say
removed the
Hillary
whole episode.
Clinton,
No,
killed-
don't say.
We were supposing that an individual was responsible for an event that caused the mass deaths of people, and
Yeah.
in theory, but the way we positioned it was that, hey, I think this person did that and it caused this, and that was there in a conspiratorial way. That was harassment and bullying on this, like,
Which is crazy because that's a direct hit on freedom of speech, right? Like, so we can't even have discussions or inquiries about such behavior.
Well, did you see what the new Twitter CEO is proposing?
No.
So you can't videotape or record anyone without their consent if they're in the media. But if they're not in the media, it's fine. So basically, like Project Veritas.
look it up, because I saw the same thing where they said you cannot record people of private citizens without their consent. And it actually excludes, if you read it, it says it excludes people who are high profile. It excludes the media and celebrities, things like that. What it says is that if you, Joe, or just like Sally Citizen, you can't go out and exploit her image if she doesn't want you to. So if Eric says, don't record me and put that on social media,
Yeah.
and you're just a guy, right? But if you're Eric Tansey as a Drinkin Bros host, then you're just shit out of luck. Because
Yeah.
you're high profile celebrity.
I think that's in direct response to the stuff with Project Veritas, though, right? When they were like that guy the guy who was working at CNN, who was like, "Oh, fear sells. That's why we talk about COVID every day." And he was on like a Tinder date. So they're trying to get rid of people doing that, though. Isn't that the whole point of what the Twitter problem was? Isn't that what he was proposing?
Yeah, I think it's scary because it's also
Yeah.
the reason, like within California, there are issues with the Planned Parenthood thing, those videos that came out that incriminate them, but because they were not given notice that it was being recorded, it's
Yeah.
not admissible in any way.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I'm sure you know all about this, Tans. You could tell me more about it. But like a one-party state and a two-party state. I know in the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you need someone's consent. And I may have not directly been a part of, but been in a court case that someone tried to record someone else without their consent and used it against them in the court of law, but that person never knew they were being recorded, and there's nothing on the recording that says you have my consent to record this. Whereas I believe North Carolina is different, where you don't need someone's consent, as Tansey still tries
It's
to find.
Jewel. It was Jewel. These foolish games.
Oh, Jewel.
These foolish
I
games.
was like searching dangerous.
Gosh, dude, I was like, that song exists. I'm sorry.
I think that's an extremely difficult thing to say, like to try to dictate whether you can or can't record, when you can and can't record. Because I think, let's say you've got somebody on tape that didn't give consent, but it's a videotape of them doing a crime.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
You say, sorry, you can't do that.
Well, that's why they have signs, right? That's why they have, like, in a place like Massachusetts where you need consent, that's why they have signs that say, smile, you're on camera. And that's their way of saying, like, you.
Yeah, once you leave your curtilage, like once you leave the privacy of your own home, fucking free
like,
game.
What your intent is to record somebody, I think that's important. But I don't think that it should be like the guys saying within those companies, hey, this is what we do. If what they're saying is criminal and your intent was to expose them, I don't know.
I love how this show has turned into like a round table of what we think about phone calls versus.
Well, you were too busy looking up a Jewel song that you didn't know. But I got to say, I saw that Jewel was on Joe Rogan a little while back, and
She
I was
was?
like, Jewel? And
She's
Jimmy, you were like, no, dude, you got to listen to that one. Like, her story, incredible. You don't even need to be like a big music or Jewel fan.
What's her story?
She was like living in like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to give it all away, but like, go listen to it.
Real quick, because it's I don't know, it's
It's out there.
basically like she was living in her car. Speaking like these guys that charge like $300 to play and didn't bring anybody. So she found that, right? Like, seriously, I don't care.
Yeah, so I own a distillery, and sometimes I hire bands for like $300, sometimes $600, and they won't bring one single fan with them. And I'm like, why am I paying you so much fucking money? Like, I'm paying you money to bring people with you, not paying you money for me to fucking make you famous.
So back in the day, Jewel was on her comeuppance where they were at in the area in California, right? That these like record producers and A&R reps were going to look for people. So these people were paying to play in bars. People were paying the owners to play.
That's what it is in Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville and Austin, a lot of places like that.
So she thought, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm trying to make money. I'm not trying to give you money for me to bring you more money. Like, you get to keep the money and you get to keep the money that we generate from the sales of the people that we bring to come see us.
Right.
So she, brilliantly, while living in her car, poor, homeless, distraught, but still, can't stop, won't stop, failure to stop, found a coffee shop that was going out of business and started advertising herself, playing for free. All she said was, I just want to keep the money that gets brought into me and like a percentage of something. And the lady was like, well, I'm going out of business soon anyway, but I'll stay open for these extra couple months so you could try that. And within no time, Jewel had turned this whole place around because she was just going out, playing, giving out flyers, generating like word of mouth.
She said people were outside of the shop, like of the window, just trying to listen.
I mean, that's how Flogging Molly got their start.
Yeah, and the craziest part about
the same songs.
All while living in her car.
They played the same songs over and over again at Molly's bar in California, and they played the same songs over and over again. And one day, the guy said, "Man, I feel like we're just flogging Molly's with all these songs that we play over and over again." And that's how they got the name Flogging Molly. But they became fucking famous for it.
Yeah, they're better than Dropkick.
Before we close out the show, what was I had one more question while I was Googling Jewel, and that you guys started talking about whatever the fuck you were talking about, whatever dumb shit that was. Oh man, now I've forgotten what the question was.
Did you lose your train of thought?
I did. I lost my train of thought.
That's what happens when you try to find your Jewel song. But even before what we were talking about with Jewel, I mean, her comeuppance, I mean, she was like in the middle of nowhere, Alaska. That's where she's from. Her mom stole a shit ton of money from her, and she turned down $1 million from a record company because she looked into it and was like, residuals, this and that, I'm going to have to pay that back. And it's really a great come-up story. She's got a great attitude. Rogan gets super emotional with her, which is awesome, too. I love when Rogan gets all, watery-eyed and stuff like that.
One of the other memorable parts on the show is when we had the terrorist whisper.
Oh, of course, Hamity.
That was a really good episode. Any other episodes that we're missing?
Oh, geez. I mean, this was something. We did one from a pool. We did a shirtless podcast in a pool. I mean, come on. Who else has fucking done that? Say whatever you want about us. I mean, we were we went outside of the box on several occasions. We had lots of different drinks that we drank. You made fun of my PBRs. We drank Old Tuffy.
That's right.
We drank Instill rum.
Absolutely.
Makers of the finest rum. I mean, I don't want to drop any other beer brands that we drank because they didn't give us advertising, those motherfuckers.
Deep River did, though.
Deep River, sure. Deep River, we can say that. We can say that about Deep River, but the other beers that we drank.
It was just fun drinking local beers at all the different local towns that we were at, and frankly, drinking bros that were just buying us drinks, which was wild, right? Like going to some of these shows, and then guys like, hey, this round's on us, and like
drank a lot of Killcliff. Big shout out to Killcliff. Thank you,
they were with us for a while.
Sponsored us for a long time, and I love the Flaming Joe still. I love Joe Rogan.
Although the season is over for us, it doesn't mean that sports is over, and we're still going to be around. We're just not going to be every week. We're not going to be at every tailgating game because we're not going to do this in the snow. It's too much. It's too stressful, especially in the January, February time frame, trying to lock all these things down, especially when we're trying to get to bigger events like Super Bowls, and then, of course, March Madness coming around in March, which is a lot sooner than you think. So we'll obviously be around. Drinkin' Bros Sports is still around, so make sure you keep hammering that like button, keep checking in every week, and following us on the social webs. I know that you've got a new Instagram handle. Was it Drinkin' Bros Music?
Yeah, Drinkin' Bros Music. I've been going back and forth and trying to figure out what's going to stick, what's going to make it work, because there really isn't any good music podcasts, in my opinion, none that I've found. But some of the best ones that are involved with music have to do with history as well. I love history almost as much as I love music. All different types. I love ancient history too. That's a different story. But like obviously you have Softcore History and Iconoblast, two great shows on the Drinkin' Bros Network. And maybe if the music, Drinkin' Bros music, that sort of can be as a part of the history, sort of tab on the YouTube files, right? So, you know, I get a lot of feedback. A lot of people message me on the Drinkin' Bros music. Maybe you should do this. Maybe you should tailgate for a specific concert. So you're doing a Tailgate Legends, Drinkin' Bros music, sort of crossover thing. So I'm definitely open to more suggestions and because really that's what it's about. You know, I can get up here and talk about fucking Egyptian pyramids and aliens and Tom Brady and Led Zeppelin all day because that's what I love. But do people want to listen to me talk about that? Maybe some do. But really, it's the audience that you have to get a barometer for, and you have to sort of understand what do people want to listen to? What are people looking for when they're not listening to Ross and Dan, or they're not listening to, you know, Delco and Bob and everything? What else are people looking for? And I think everyone loves music, and to have a history component to the music, so it falls under that same category of history too, might be sort of the avenue to take an approach. But you know, leave a comment or message me at BostonJoe16 or at Drinkin' Bros Music. Yeah. Also, a thing, too, which is kind of funny is I'm not at 1,000 yet. I'll roll my eyes as Tansey approaches 3,000. But when
Am I almost at 3,000?
I think so. I think I checked the other day, and I think you were almost there. Failure to Stop.
I always like to, if I hit a milestone, I like to post.
How does Failure to Stop have so much more than you? This isn't a knock on you. Anyone who follows Failure to Stop, how are they not also following you?
Well, I spend much more time on Failure to Stop's social media. I do a lot more engaging post on.
Maybe
on,
that's why.
on.
But wouldn't you think if like, okay, you follow Failure to Stop, the next thing should be
literally still
follow
like,
Eric
I went
Tansey.
back to, so when they started Eric Tansey Official, that was Drinkin' Bros said like you need to have your own thing outside of your family.
And then
that's just post about you
shit anyway.
But like, dude, I just hate the self-absorption of social media. And I'm more proud of my children. I'm more proud of my wife. And I, you know, one of the things that what happened when I started posting on Eric Tansey Official was people were like, yo, dude, like I miss seeing your kids and I miss seeing your wife. Cause honestly, like my kids do a lot cooler shit than I do. And they're a lot more entertaining than I am. And my wife is a lot more beautiful than I am. And frankly, fucking with her on Instagram and is a lot more fun than anything else. So I kind of went back to just kind of like more family style posts, which I get that a lot of people don't like. I think nobody wants to follow somebody to see what's going on in their family, but I don't like posting stuff about me. It just seems super dumb, and frankly, I'm just not that interesting. So Failure to Stop is growing because I can post memes on there, I can post funny shit on there, and it's not shit that's like, because I'm really just not that interesting of a guy outside of saying stupid shit on a microphone.
Sure. But I started, you guys were making fun of me when I first started. I only had 300 followers, and now I'm almost at 900.
Oh, great job.
So look at that.
What's that, like
almost
like
a year
50 followers a month, 25 followers a month.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I hate that it's such a big part of the world that we're in today. I would like to fancy.
I just
myself.
like it. I think the only reason I put any time and effort into Failure to Stop and Drinkin' Bros Sports is because it brings me money, right? So, yeah, we're close to 10,000 on Facebook for Failure to Stop, and that really turns over into dollars and cents because we sell coffee mugs, we sell T-shirts, we sell Christmas ornaments that are coming out. I mean, like all these things. So when you have 10,000 people, you know, if we've got, you know, close to 10,000 on Facebook and close to whatever, are we at 4,000 yet? Yeah, we're over 4,000
maybe
on Instagram or whatever in a very short period of time, which is great. But, you know, that's almost 14,000 people that you can reach whenever you drop a coffee mug or a T-shirt. And so,
isn't it weird to think about? I mean, a year ago today, you would have been like, really?
Yeah, no, I never thought I would be podcasting. You know, owning a distillery was it for me, but podcasting is very weird, very weird world that I live in.
Wicked weird.
But I love it. I mean, I'm having a great time with it. I don't know how long it's going to last, which is obviously the biggest fear of doing this business.
Pretty much every time you have sex, you don't know how long it's going to last, too.
Well,
but you do it anyway, right?
We have an idea. Like it's going to be no more than 5 minutes, no less than 2 seconds. But you know, it's like you wake up every day and you don't know. There's always somebody out there that's better. There's always somebody that's out there that's more interesting. And literally, I know that I got this position because I went on the Drinkin' Bros podcast, and I said a couple of funny jokes, and they liked my voice, I guess, for some reason. So who's the next guy that's going to come on there and have a better voice or have more knowledge? So it could be taken away from me at any second.
And you were on with the Broettes and Jesse Wiseman, who was on our show.
Yeah, we had the Jesse Wiseman on the show.
Jesse on our show. Great. That was right after Dallas. And then I hope to go to Texas in the immediate future. I hope to, if I do enough gigs and get enough funds to make a little trip. I hate going on planes, though.
Why don't you try to get some gigs in Texas?
That'd be tough.
Oh, really?
I'm just trying to get gigs right here in North Carolina.
You don't think you could just like call a couple bars and be like, "Hey, I'm coming up from North Carolina. Would like to play some music. I charge $150."
I don't know if it's that easy. I could certainly try, though. I know my buddy Steve, shout out to Steve, he went over and did a trip to Montana. Got himself a gig there in Montana.
Montana's beautiful.
Yeah, big sky country.
Big, beautiful country.
Yeah, lots of sun. He did it for about a girl, though.
Oh, you want to go see a girl in Montana?
About a girl.
Oh, he did it. He sung about a girl? Or he went?
He went because of a girl.
Okay.
But
how'd that work out?
Congrats on the sex, Steve.
Okay.
But I mean, that's pretty cool to say that you play at different states like that. I've only played in 2. I would love to play in Texas. Of course I would.
Going to play in Texas, you got to have a Boston Joe in the band. That lead guitar is hot, but Boston Joe is a little hotter.
This is why you don't sing.
So rosin up that pick and...
Oh, I'm glad you said rosin up that pick. A debate. Okay. You can debate me on this.
All right.
Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, great song.
The Devil's solo was way better than Johnny's. Go back and listen to the song, and it's like a battle, right? They have a violin battle. But it's like, the devil bowed his head because he knew.
I don't think I ever listened to see who won.
Way cooler.
But I mean, Johnny's the underdog here. I mean, like if you're the devil, you should be bringing some mad fire on.
I thought he did the bass line.
You got this little kid, Johnny, fucking getting it. Like, let's go.
I don't even know what he's saying. Round and round and round goes round. Devil around to round and son. Chicken and back up boop. I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Oh well,
that's what it sounds like to me. You go back and listen to that song. The Devil's solo was much better. The bass lines and all the demons joined in and sounded something like this. Way cooler. So I think the Devil won that. Team Devil. You heard it here first.
The Devil Shame Cave.
But that's just me. What the fuck do I know? I don't know shit about anything.
Well, I'd say it's been an honor. I've enjoyed working with you. It's been wild.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Don't fucking lie. I mean, fucking asshole.
We do a lot of traveling, and so when you're with somebody for a long time, we do. I'm much older. So that comes into play. But we've had some really great times. We've had some really stressful times. I am an asshole. All for the camera. I'm all business. To a fault. But I am who I am.
Yeah, and I'm also annoying as fuck. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I mean we've all got our things, but needless to say, we went a whole year. We did the whole thing. We had a great time, and we always produced. We always entertained the fans, and I hope that we get to do this again next football season. I think having a time off from having to do this every weekend is going to be nice because we're going to be able to really get more creative and.
Will you start being nice to me again? You used to be really nice to me. I remember there was this moment at the bar in Austin after we did the Super Bowl show, and you put your arm around me and you're like, you know what? I hate to say this. I don't want to say this. It pains me to say it, but I'm proud of you.
Oh, I must have been drunk.
He was a little bit. Hey, but a drunk mind speaks a sober heart.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's because there was other people on that trip that were a lot more annoying than you. You just kind of overshadowed.
Oh, really?
You.
Like who?
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that. Yeah. Let's just say that some people get drunk and they get very, very. So there's some fun drunks. There are some angry drunks, and then there are just some fucking annoying drunks.
I wasn't even drunk that night. All I wanted to do was talk to Dan Holloway.
I don't know. I think I wasn't drunk, but I was really in the mood to cut loose. And so I was getting my drive on, and it was ruined by another person who wanted to get their drive on, but in a different way. They had different intentions of the jive, right? And my jive was just purely just want to dance. I just want to have fun by myself. I want to dance by myself.
Dancing with myself.
Have a good time. I don't mind dancing with somebody else, as long as it's, semi-flirty. I don't want to go full flirt. I don't want to go full, like, I'm in this because
break them when you're grinding with them.
Yeah,
bend over to the front, touch your toes.
Yeah, like I want to keep it classy. I want to keep it real as a married man, and so that was, that was. I think from what I remember on that trip, being people that really annoyed me was that individual who just wanted me inside of them on the dance floor, and I didn't want to be there.
All right, just say it. We know you're talking about Bradley Yandel. who again was another guest
that
on our
was
show.
funny.
Drove all the way from Tennessee and delivered
No,
your
I was saying, like,
transy sign.
if I had to dance with a dude on Drinkin' Bros, I think I would dance with Bradley Andel.
He's the
would be-
prettiest.
He is the prettiest, but no, Bradley Andel is a fun character. Every time around him, just a genuinely sweet guy with a sweet heart, and will do anything for anybody. And I forgot, yeah, we can't talk Drinkin' Bros without talking Bradley Andel. That guy is a character. Of course, his friend the pirate. That was a great
His friend,
story
the
having
pirate-
him on the
pirate
show.
hunter.
The pirate hunter, yeah. Signs by veterans, huge shout out. They made me a wonderful sign.
Absolutely,
And they're just
absolutely.
great people. But that was another really fun show. But
Yeah, I mean,
Bradley Andel is
Bradley
dope
Andel
as
took
fuck.
me and Jimmy in for a night. We slept on his floor. I brought my air mattress and then left it there for Bill Schofield, another drinking bro that we got to shout out.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten it back yet, but that's okay.
I don't think if it's in the hands of Schofield, I'm not sure that you want that back.
Yeah, it's gonna be real crusty.
That's gonna
I'm
be
gonna try
real
to blow it back up. It's just gonna be stuck together.
I think that dude
All that
jerks off
noise.
more than I do.
Really?
I have a
you
few-
guys should have
I've
a
got a
24-hour
feeling.
jerk off marathon.
I'd like to do that with Jack Mandeville. But I want to do it in the same room. I don't want to be in the same room jerking off with Schofield. But I think Jack Mandeville, I think he and I sitting across from each other, 24-hour jerk sesh. I think he and I would go all in. I think we would give it our best shot. We're not losers. We're not put on this earth to lose. We're put on this earth to win. And I think that would be a competition to end all other competitions.
Well, you said that your record is 7, right? 7.
No, that's sex.
So then-
7 times in one day. No, 8 is the record. I tried to beat that record on my birthday by having sex more than 8 times, or at least tying it. I made it to 7.
I gotta be honest.
At 37, I made it to 7 times in one day, and she got pregnant.
Do you
that day?
take testosterone booster or
Absolutely not.
That's crazy because me, I gotta be honest. Like I'm fucking 29. I have sex once.
But
I'm
see,
like,
it wasn't
I'm
like
done.
what you think. Like some people are like 7 times in a day. Gosh, I can't even do it twice in a day. So like it was 2 in the morning. So we drank the night before on the 17th of July. We drank a couple bottles of wine for my birthday. We had some, really great food. The kids were in bed. So at 2 a.m., she was like, "It's your birthday." It might have been earlier than that, but we got done having sex at 2. And then we woke up at 7, and I woke up about 7:30ish. And again, she had crawled over. We did the thing. She was like, "Happy birthday." I was like, "Great." So that's 2. And then right before lunch, I had to leave. I had to go. And she said, "You want to knock it out one more time before you leave?" And I said, "Sure." And then she says, "I think we can break our record today." And I was like, "Okay, game on." So we did it. I went to do my thing. I came back around 2:00 for an, just midway throughout the day before I had to go back to the distillery. We knocked it out then. Then I was going back to the distillery. We knocked it out before we went to the distillery. So now we're up to 4 or 5. And then that night we did it at 6. Then we did it outside around the corner of the house while the kids were upstairs cleaning. And so we had went down and around the house. And then we did it in the sunroom. And then we tried to do it like around 11:55 right before bed. And it was the most disappointing nut I've ever had.
I was gonna say it must have just been dust coming out.
It was very weak. I was almost like embarrassed with myself. I was like, "Oh my God, is my penis broken?" And that was 7. I never could.
Now that's a record I don't think I could beat.
I'm training for it.
But
Training for it right
I
now. I'm going to
think
beat it this year.
I think I've beat you with how many different women in one day?
Oh, probably. Oh, I know you've done. I know you've beat me there.
How many different women or people have you had sex with in one? Is it only just been the
just
one?
2.
Oh,
Just 2 in one day.
Had sex with 2 people in one day. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is 4. And if anyone has beaten me on that, please message me the details.
I thought it would be more.
No, it's
Oh,
4
in
I was in
one
high
day. In
school.
one
Yeah, 4 in one day. I was in high school. I was like 18 years old. And that was when I could fuck all day. I'm fucking 10 years later. I'm like, yeah, give me 1 and I'm good. Let me take a nap. Maybe I need some testosterone boosting. Who wants to juice me up? Anyone want to juice me up out there?
Oh, God. I don't want to juice you at all.
Vials?
It's disgusting.
See, I'm not actually. See, I talk about needles. I'm not doing any needles. I'll take a fucking pill, I guess. But if it makes my dick grow, then so be it.
Well,
I need all the help I can get.
this was a fun show. It was a great last show. And what a way to finish. But thank you guys. Every single person that came to a game, that copied our recipe, that tagged us in a post, that follows us, that sends us all the great vibes all the time, that laugh with us. And until next time.
Cheers, motherfuckers.